In early June of 2024, a man in his 30s sits down to read a book called God and Anatomy by scholar Francesca Stavrakopoulou. A former evangelical missionary and now a boring and somewhat embarrassed atheist, he quickly discovers a love for reading about ancient Middle Eastern history and culture and writing. He's unemployed, an early victim of tech layoffs, though his employer's revenue streams had been hit by the especially unique twin commercial jets of Kanye's Nazi period and the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the only company which could feasibly be equally impacted by these two specific events, which turned into the twin towers of tracksuit and fashionable waffle-esque shoe sale decline. But despite his personal woes, 2024 is still a time of hope, a time where, sure, things are pretty bad. But we've come back around on Avatar. Who could have foreseen such optimism? He hopes Payakon has a significant part in the next one. He thinks out loud before starting his next book. He doesn't realize it yet, but the 5 books he reads this week will quickly inspire the germ of an idea, a podcast about the Bible with as many as hundreds of listeners. Suddenly, his reading is interrupted, a buzzing in his pocket, perhaps a picture of his nephews or a message from his wife to come fetch lunch from the kitchen. No, it is no trivial matter. It's something that will steal an entire day of his precious reading time. He peers down. Discord. At everyone. You've got to check this out. DBJ is streaming themselves nailed inside of a rotating box for the next 24 hours. He sets his book down and puts on his headphones. He will have to read the introduction again. Welcome to the Bible Lore Podcast. I am absolutely thrilled today to bring on 2 wonderful podcasters and streamers whose show, Stories, you should absolutely listen to. It was one of my favorite new shows of last year. I've got DBJ and Luke from Stories here. Welcome to the Ale House at the End of the World, guys.
It's so great excited to be here. So nice to be here. Very pleasantly surprised by how incredible this film was that we will be talking about today.
Yeah.
And want to say so much about it immediately.
Respectfully, though.
Yeah, we have agreed just before recording that we are going to be so respectful here, and the second anyone fucks that up.
Sorry.
Well, Hayden, I want to say,
okay.
You can be disrespectful. I'm trying to get ahead of this as I know DJ is going to come for me and my beliefs, and I don't want this.
Okay.
I was asking clarifying questions before the podcast.
You called it a fantasy. Say what you said before we started.
What I said was, that wasn't me coming after it. That was me saying, so we need to make sure all these people can live in their little fantasy.
Yeah, right. That's aggressive. It gives people hope. You know that, right?
If an adult man, legitimately, and if an adult man said,
"Oh my God,
elves are real. Elves are totally real, and they forgive me," wouldn't you like?
You think
crazy?
Jesus is an elf?
Wait, what kind of elves?
What are you talking about?
I said elves, plural. The apostles are elves.
But you said the apostle. Okay,
no, and
I can see that.
Is maybe
they're one elves, and Jesus is a high elf, and he spends more time in the promised land, and that's why. And he's more pure.
So we're about 4 minutes in, and Jesse is already comparing ancient Jews to mythical creatures. I don't mean to say that he's intentionally reinscribing European anti-Semitism and folkloric.
Again, I am looking for the line.
Maybe that's good. Maybe that's it is still anti-Semitic because it's like calling Jews creatures.
Right.
But if you're going
in like a really classical
elves
sense.
Is better.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're beautiful. Elves
are say goblins.
Yeah, it's not dwarves. It's not guys in the mines looking for gold. This is unlike the I don't know what the anti-Semitic fantasy character or sci-fi character. You got your Jar Jar. You've got your Ferengis. You've got your Wattos. You've got those sorts of things. Elves wouldn't be that bad in the most part, depending on the kind of elves. It
seems like there's quite a lot of these.
That's sort of weird.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
It's sort of like no matter what kind of plane of science fiction or fantasy you go to, there is an archetype for Jews.
Yeah,
that's weird.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, so. Getting into that, what's y'all's experience with the Bible? Luke,
Jesse?
do you want to start?
I'll start. Yeah. I'm Jewish, but I went to Episcopalian school.
You didn't disclose that before we started.
I thought it was obvious.
Okay. Continue. It's fine.
I figured as a diligent podcast host, you had done race science on my Instagram profile and figured it out. I am Jewish, but I was raised. I mean, this is my dirty little secret. I went to Episcopalian school because my Jewish grandma taught at one. So I got put into that system as a kid.
Right.
I went to Episcopalian school till I was 18. And I've reflected as an adult, and I'm like, I think that shit really seeped in way more than I thought it did. Because I'm like thinking about the golden rule way more than like most Jewish people, I think. And I over COVID, I did read the Bible. I read all the New Testament. I read a bunch of the Old Testament, and frankly, I did get bored. I like got through like 10 pages of genealogies, like a third of the way through, and I was like, I can't do this. But I had never read, that's what's interesting about going to Episcopalian school or going to church. You never get the whole thing, and I really wanted to read just like at least the New Testament beginning to end. So yeah, you could say I'm kind of a fucking expert. Jesse, take it away. Sorry, I hate it if you have. Sorry, I didn't even.
No, yeah. You're good.
I was raised Christian, and I went to Christian summer camp.
What kind of
Christian?
Summer for
what kind of Christian? I guess Lutheran. I think it was not super denominational. It was like because we didn't go to church, with any frequency, but it was like in the house. And my dad is very Christian, and it's all that sort of stuff. And I was raised around it.
It's the post-'80s hangover of everyone's Christian in America again, but that's all kind of ill-defined besides, right-wingism. So
yeah, exactly. And then I went to Christian summer camp for like 5 summers in a row in my from 12 to like 17. And there was a brief period at the beginning of that where I was like inspired and considered myself very Christian. And that faded with the years.
Nice.
Did you guys have it? Because I when I hit 12, I was like, I'm an atheist. I fully did it.
I think I had the opposite. The opposite. Yeah.
But
again, it was fairly short lived. So what's pathetic? Is it that I didn't fully commit, that I gave up on it?
It's at the age when you should have been questioning it the most. You were the most willing to believe is like completely pathetic to me.
Yeah, I mean. You were sort of, as Jesus says, you're hot or cold. If you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out.
I will spit you out of my mouth. Yes.
Right, exactly.
Revelations.
So, whereas I became an evangelical missionary, you didn't really,
What's up with that, Hayden? You said
numbers on the board.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so I grew up Pentecostal. Those are the speaking in tongues types.
I love Pentecostals.
Oh my God, with the snake?
Snake? No snakes. Eastern Washington, so that's Appalachia.
Oh, okay.
Everywhere else.
Sorry, I'm cutting you off because I'm so excited, but I'm super into Appalachian Pentecostal. So please keep going.
I know. The only person, you might talk to Tom Sexton sometime about that. He, I think, might actually know some of those guys. He grew up in like the other. So there's Assemblies of God. Is one of the the big Pentecostal, and then there's the other one. I think it's Church of God, and that he's more in that sort of realm. Snake handlers can be, I think, either of those denominations, but they are almost confined entirely to like the Ozarks and Appalachia.
Yeah.
So
they are like even extreme for Pentecost. Like those are. It's not like all Pentecostals are doing that. Okay, I'm so curious about this. So. When you were born, were your parents already going to this church? Did this happen?
No. See, they were part of they were part of one of the go back to church in the 90s revival sort of thing. So like a lot of people, and this is something I found through like reading like sociological research, people leave church when they're in their teens and 20s, and then they tend to go back in their 30s, right? When they have kids and when they've settled down. That was my folks. Whereas people now, millennials, are not doing that nearly at the rate of their parents. We haven't gone back. Nobody's gone back. But Sad. It is kind of like, it is the tail end of that like bell curve of re-Christianization of America that started in the 50s. After like when you read into it, it seems like until like the late 40s, especially with the New Deal, nobody was a Christian anymore. Like people just stopped going to church entirely. And then like Wall Street got involved and helped sell it. It was a whole thing. But America had to it took like 30 years to get it to be Christian again. That all culminated in Reagan.
I mean, I don't know about you, Jesse. I think just without thinking about it, I'm just like, Well, yeah, even during the first half of the 20th century, people always like, well, yeah, they were like Christian.
They were kind of. They were like were like culturally, but nobody went to church.
Interesting.
It's culturally, it's like, you say you're Christian, but as far as the performance of it and the going to church and how popular values are, like how much people are talking about it, is a totally different thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's popular.
And we live in like the hangover from the backlash to that, because it was the backlash, especially after the New Deal. That's when Wall Street got involved and basically helped to fund the re-Christianization of America, which is it's really interesting.
Maybe they're not so bad.
We're enjoying it so much. I was a Pentecostal. I grew up in that, and I went through a hard time after around the time I graduated high school. And eventually just decided, I heard of this program to do 6 months as a missionary, and I ended up getting hooked in for 3 years, and it was terrible. Found a few podcasts like The Dollop and Chapo that helped me get out of that mindset. But that was all like 10 years ago now.
Well, they poisoned you. I mean,
they poisoned you. Right.
Yeah,
they stuck their left fingers in you.
Yeah, exactly. Amber Frost was raised Pentecostal. Her grandpa was a big Pentecostal preacher. I once talked to her about this. I don't know I don't know if she's really talked about it on Chapo, but at one time we were at a party together, and I really got into it with her because I'm so fucking obsessed with it. And she was telling me it was like, it's interesting because it was sort of like lower Ohio into Tennessee. I mean, like real Appalachia shit. I don't think they were snake handling, but she was telling me, yes, exactly. And I always think about this because she was like, they obviously have insane beliefs, as like anti-gay, blah, blah, blah. But weirdly, around racial issues, they were extremely together because they were like, black, white, it doesn't matter. We are persecuted. Like they weirdly, like there was a lot of like interfaith or interracial marriage within the Pentecostal church. It's just an anecdotal evidence that I'm always thinking about how crazy that is.
And that came into clash with like the Southern Baptists, who are definitely not like that. No. Which kind of ended up redrawing a lot of the like religious lines. It's a really, really fascinating period.
Yeah. Where did you do your mission?
I was based out of Australia and did a lot of work in India and Nepal. And
were you doing like the Mormon thing where you're like going door to door, or is it more like you're building and working with community?
It was a mix between the two. So it was a little bit of like evangelizing, but also some like building houses and helping build churches and things like that. A lot of, drudge work and things, sort of a mix. So, yep, that was me for about 3 years. And
can I ask, like, I assume the negatives are pretty obvious, but like, do you look back? I mean, because I feel like it seems like a very thing to do when you're 20 and you're going insane. Like, I totally get that. Like, do you look back with any fondness on it at this point?
I try not to look at it through like fondness or the answer is mostly no. It's, it's obviously, but it obviously, I am who I am. I went through what I went through.
It's part of the tapestry.
Exactly. And that's kind of, I always see it as like, everything behind you is behind you. I guess to even transition into what we're talking about today, the whole the one thing I really will appreciate about that time in my life is I think I truly learned to just let what happened be kind of behind me and figure out what I want to do with what I've got in front of me. And I think that's a lot harder. At least it was for me. That's a lot easier said than done.
Sure.
And kind of. So that's how I've tried to view that entire experience as well. But it was something I learned there, so maybe some positives. And now I'm, again, a fairly boring atheist. But
it's kind of like when it's actually very similar, Jesse. I think you're going to agree with this. It's like when I stopped doing live comedy and I started doing streaming.
Now, in what way?
Big life change.
Big
change. I knew what was behind me, not in front of me.
Right.
Big change.
So it's different. So it's similar in the sense that it is something that changed.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I'm just saying I can empathize and I understand completely what you went through when I switched from offline to online comedy during the pandemic.
I see that. Streaming is actually, I think it's very heroic. We all agree.
Thank you.
You know what else is heroic?
It's a form
First of all, thank you.
Yeah. What else is heroic is actually making a movie. especially a movie like this, which I originally entitled Assassin 33 AD, retitled Black Easter. We watched the director's cut of Assassin 33 AD, which I just to get into the beauty that is the beginning of this movie, it starts with a 5-minute montage of credits rolling by telling you all of the awards that it won, which I think is really kind of a big dick move.
Really wild.
The
really
Calcutta
wild
Cult Movie Award.
Yeah, it was like
So
90
good.
seconds of like the filigree feathers like on either side as it just cycled through all the awards.
It's a good sign when the first thing they're going to do is like, this is a good movie.
I'm
We
already
have
watching
proof.
it. I'm already watching it. Why did you put this here?
It was that, and as someone who's sort of a connoisseur of these kind of just shitty B movies in general, what you're used to seeing is about 10 different production companies in what always see in these kind of movies that are all way too long. It's like, when you're doing a big movie, they will cut that down. You're not getting the full Amblin Entertainment logo animation. You're getting like a summary of it. These usually go on for like 20 seconds each, totaling like 2 or 3 minutes. They did that just with the awards this guy was so proud of winning from film festivals that I'm pretty sure don't exist in real life.
Or maybe based on like them call it, like there are a couple cult movie awards, and I was like, maybe they didn't know that it wasn't a big joke or something,
I think that there's also, I'm not sure. I feel like there's a ton of those festivals where it's like there's one movie in each category.
Yeah, right.
And they win for like best Christian movie or something like that. And it's like that's it. And that counts.
That's like a whole racket, man. I mean, when I've like made a couple of short films, and it's like you go on Film Freeway and you can just kind of like mass submit to a million things, and then it's like it's its own little racket.
So it is a real thing. I'm glad I've got the Hollywood expertise of these Los Angeles residents here.
Yes,
it's a whole thing. A couple of years ago, I hunted down because I was curious about. I had heard that like don't trust when on a wine it says like it's an award-winning wine. That's a whole fucking scam empire of wine competitions. It's a whole fucking thing. They're just selling awards to it goes
awesome.
deep. It's crazy.
And you're addicted to wine, so that really affected you a lot.
And you're addicted to whining.
Oh, dude.
Die!
Got him.
Die!
I hate
Assassin 33 AD is... It begins with awards. That's important. The one thing that really just does not work at all in this movie. There's a surprising amount that does. The one thing that does not, even for the main actor in this, who isn't that bad, is the voiceover narration, which I don't know why it always sounds like this. It reminds me of the Blade Runner theatrical cut narration, where it sounds like famously, it sounds like there's a gun to Harrison Ford's head.
It sounds worse because it sounds like they are trying. The narration feels like after they shot the movie, they tried to make it into a romantic comedy or something.
Yes.
Like that's the tone of the narration.
Yeah.
For such a violent movie. And it will just be cut off suddenly by, so that all happened.
More than once in the movie, there is not a record scratch, but a VHS tape rewind.
Yes.
Let's go back and see what really happened.
I don't think I've seen like the sort of like Christian movie that's trying to be cool, but like through really the elder millennial lens before.
This has got to be the first one.
Yeah. I was like, this is a guy who likes Rick and Morty, but it's not Christian enough for him. It's like, what if it was Christian? It's so wild.
It's usually Christian movies are so self-serious that they will not include something. They won't include any levity like this. This movie has all the same beliefs as God's Not Dead or whatever.
Yeah.
But is also trying to be a fun sci-fi romp.
It actually commits to that.
It's an action movie. Also, I know I'm jumping ahead. I would say the violence, especially with guns, is brutal in a way where I was like, wait, what? Like,
violence
it's like
is brutal and
not
shocking.
cool.
It's out of nowhere. It's totally inconsistent with the rest of the movie. And, well, this is also jumping ahead, but the movie is literally an act of blasphemy, I believe.
Oh, it's
Dude.
one of the most heretical things. So let's get started about.
I could not figure. I was like, this is crazy what he's chosen to do in his Christian movie.
They're rewriting the Bible.
For being probably the coolest, and that's a very low bar to clear, Christian movie I may have ever seen. Like just in terms of like, oh fuck, that rocked. Oh shit, he did what when the guy materialized? That it was like, you can't find any Christian sites that will recommend this movie, which I think is a great mark. That is actually the one award that it should have won is, Dove, all the other sites that, like, any of them, if they came across this, were like, this is blasphemy.
Clearly. How could it not be? Okay, I mean, we'll just get into it. The opening scene is a SWAT team guy shooting Jesus in the head.
Mowing him down.
Like, and then it literally, let's rewind this, is watching Jesus die from an assault rifle.
Right.
So funny. It's so funny to be trying to do like a fucking Ricky Morty fun, like learning about Jesus movie, and you open it with the fucking terrorist door gunning Jesus.
Right.
What are you talking about?
35 years ago, they had The Last Temptation, and because there's that extended montage where Jesus is tempted, it turns out, spoilers for a 35-year-old movie, but at the, for the last, third of the movie, it's essentially just a temptation of Jesus that's revealed while he's on the cross, waiting to give up his spirit, essentially. And that was so significant that, like, a lot of people protested it. Some of that was astroturfed, but some of it was, actual people being upset over this. Now, though, people will barely notice your movie, even if it essentially does that, but then turns that into eschatology. Because unlike in that movie, that part matters for the narrative of the movie, but it's not like considered like the reality. The part where Jesus gets shot in the head does not go away in this movie. It is actually a critical,
it's the fulcrum of the movie.
Everything
rests upon a guy killing Jesus instead of, it's like basically about like, does Jesus still die for our sins if he gets shot in the head with an assault rifle?
Does that count as him dying for our sins? And as it turns out, it does.
Yes.
It turns out it doesn't matter how he does. Can we talk about late, because they show it in the beginning of the movie. I don't know why they do it like this. They show it in the beginning of the movie.
Because every good movie, this person thinks, starts in media res. That's exactly why
that's
they
not
do
what
it.
in media res.
I mean,
anyway.
he fucking.
But that's what was in his mind when he was
maybe it worked because it also hooked me. It immediately woke me up.
I was like, I guess I really don't know what this movie is.
All right,
then.
I guess I'm gonna pay attention.
Yeah.
I'm gonna close my laptop and lock in. Can we talk about the scene later where they actually kill Jesus?
Yeah, we'll talk about that, but first let's introduce people to what's going on in this movie. So it starts out, it's very convoluted, as any time travel movie is essentially bound to be. The main character is a guy named Ram Goldstein, who is presumably Jewish coded. Yeah, very Jewish coded. Never explicitly.
That doesn't make any sense. He says he doesn't believe. It doesn't make sense. He doesn't believe in God, and he's rejected the Lord. Why would they make a Jewish coded name for him?
And it's sort of the fulcrum of the movie is a Jew converts to Jesus, and then we'll get there. But the last line of this movie is incredible.
The last line of the movie.
I can't. Okay.
When you said,
we're getting too excited. We're getting too ahead of ourselves.
Too excited.
Like
You're right.
45 minutes into the movie, I sent Luke a message that was like, "This thing's got heat. This movie's got heat."
Yes.
And then Luke said the last line of the movie is something fucking else, and I was like, "It can't be that good." And it was the best thing I've ever heard. It was that good.
It's that good.
It was that good.
So this movie is at its core is about the conflict between two men, presumable war criminal Brandt, who is security at this research lab where Ram Goldstein and his team of scientists works. Brandt is married to a key element to this movie, a British woman played by Heidi Montag, who has about 5 lines.
Crazy.
The Hills is Heidi Montag, who you'll note is not British at all.
Right.
And there are about 2 performances in this movie that really do not work. Hers is the one, though, that is like completely dubbed over. Like you want like
I didn't do it. That's
it's very
awesome.
clear that she cannot do. They hired her because she's famous,
Right.
but she can't do a British accent. So you just see it. It reminds you of like old 70s movies where you can tell that the ADR is just kind of sloppy, like a low budget movie.
Yeah.
Or
like a
an
spaghetti
Italian
western where
dub,
they
spaghetti
where
western
they just are fully not even speaking the
they're
same
saying
language.
Yeah, they just
watermelon
didn't
or whatever.
Yeah.
This was the first laugh out loud line in the movie. Was Brant is in the car driving his whole family, his beautiful blonde family.
His wonderful white family.
His wife is in the passenger seat. His children are in the back. Beautiful children. And his wife says something, I forget what she says, and then he says, "I love your British accent."
Yeah. Which is a line because
It's really important.
It gets brought up many times.
Oh yes.
Ends up becoming extremely important, but the line, it is so funny to have like a 6-year-old daughter with somebody and then be like, "I love your British accent."
You're
like
still sort of like still hung up on that like 10 years into this relationship.
That kind of works in like the evangelical spaces where like the pastors will always go up, especially youth pastors, and be like, and in the audience today, of course, is my smoke show wife. So I don't know if you guys ever experienced that. They love doing that stuff. That's my hot wife.
But this is
the number of guys who accidentally use the term "hot wife" from the pulpit would genuinely scandalize you.
Really?
It's
I
so
did not know. That's
fucking
crazy.
weird. It's like this performative like heterosexuality that you have to do.
I think it's also like when you are getting married really young or getting married because you're religious and that's what you do. And you are getting married for reasons other than, it might be some intimacy, but you're getting married for reasons other than purely like true love with this person, which means you're getting married to somebody that you maybe don't know very well and may never know super well.
Right.
And have to confirm, and you have to like confirm like, but she's hot, so it's actually good that I married this way, even though no one else in your life that isn't this offshoot religion does marry this way.
And that's also the basis of why you're married, because she was hot and you can't have sex with her unless you're married.
Right.
And that's as far as it ever went. And that's as far as,
and
that's
the depth of a lot of this. And which is, I don't know if that's what the person who wrote this intended to do, or because it is an important plot point. So it's obviously, I mean, that's why it's so ham-fisted, but it rings as true. Ironically, despite feeling very false, that falseness has a kernel of truth at the center.
The best thing about bad movies is that the people making them cannot help but express themselves.
That's what this movie is so good at that other Christian movies cannot do, because this only realistically has like one altar call moment in it, whereas like your classic like Left Behind with Kirk Cameron, it's in your face
over and over and over
all
and over again.
the time.
Yeah.
This
Altar
is
moment.
so light. Altar call would be like come to Jesus movie.
You should convert, basically, right?
It's time.
saying,
You've seen the movie now.
Yeah.
You've been emotionally hooked. Come up. That's the point. This kind
usually
of
in Christian
eschews a lot
movies
of
it happens like 5 times.
Can I
like
be
5
honest
characters
too?
have that.
I feel like even though it obviously didn't work, but I was like, well, they did fucking earn it, because the altar call is a guy not believing in God and then having infutable proof that Jesus exists and is magic.
Infutable, truly infutable. Some would say irrefutable.
I guess I was wrong. I saw it in front of me. Yeah.
I had an argument with him. I was arguing with Christ.
So Ram is on the verge of, he's actually trying to he's for a smart guy, he's a little bit stupid. For a guy who even refers to himself in the narration, which some have to think maybe there's a little bit of authorial creep in there, where the writer he is an archetype of the smartest guy that's ever lived, and he says so.
Yeah.
And they do say that. Everyone does confirm he's the smartest guy alive, which I think is really funny.
And the guy who plays him isn't terrible at kind of giving a scientist. Everyone else who plays scientists, though, they can't do that. He falls in love with his girlfriend named Amy, who
that conversation
God bless the actress.
between those two was
She's a
Unbelievable.
porno lady. I mean, I don't mean it derogatively. I mean,
Okay, how could you possibly have meant it otherwise?
I mean, I'm just saying she was giving porno lady.
Okay. You meant, but you're saying I don't mean it derogatively. I was just trying to say she's a shitty actress. That's
Well,
what you mean. Like,
Yeah.
No,
With love.
It's very.
With love.
There is that fact that, like, I mean, this was something I talked to the Trillbillies about. Is that, like, in Left Behind, all the characters' names. What you realize is that porno names aren't necessarily intentionally porno names. Sometimes it is just bad writing, and what you realize is that those traits are shared by, like, all bad writing.
Right.
That's
Right.
interesting.
Those are like two of the big
That's very
genres of
interesting.
bad movies out there: Christian fiction and porno. Those are two large genres in fiction, in fictional filmmaking, that share a lot of these traits. And I think that's a unifying theme that I
You
realize.
think
But I see what
Ram
you're saying.
Goldstein is a porno name?
That is such a good point, because those are the two bad movies that have ways to get funding too, to like actually make a movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there was some crossover in like the 70s and 80s of those, like for B movies, you would get funding from the same studio for porno, like especially softcore stuff, and for these Christian movies, because they hadn't quite gotten their media apparatuses up to like where they're at today.
Yeah.
So in the early days, there was a lot of like crossover there.
Wow.
So he's on the verge, Ram is on the verge of teleportation, but he forgot about one of the key things about, moving matter from one place to another, which is that it takes time. Now, of course, anyone would note that that's kind of an introductory part of like larger physics. Like you watch like one Angela Collier video and you're like, okay, yeah, you can't forget time when you're dealing with these
I mean,
sorts
I
of
also
things.
wouldn't say that that's larger physics. I would say that's one of the first things like a baby learns when they are moving their hand around.
I'm trying to be nice.
They're sort of grabbing for
DBJ, I'm trying to be nice.
like the fact that action takes time is maybe like
It's like that's sort of the whole thing. It's like you do peekaboo and then they go, "Oh, you didn't just like transport." It's like not a different guy. That's like the first. It is true. You're right, Jesse. It's the first lesson.
it's the first lesson. And this guy, well, he's got his priorities in different places.
So
Can I say something about this crowd of geniuses?
Yes.
The way that they're all written is obviously very sort of stupid. Like the dialogue is bad. The way that they talk makes you be
the
like
black guy. The black guy sounds like a parody of a black guy. I think the filmmaker was black, so maybe that rings true to him.
The black guy is doing such a Chris Tucker thing.
Yeah.
That I don't
It's
understand.
so clear he was directed that way. Like you're like it's so not the actor's fault. Where it's like and you're like smart, but you're also the cool black guy.
It's the exact thing that's like it's literally 20-25 years out of date. It's like whichever Wayne's brother was in the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Do you remember that? Did anybody see this? Like just that character.
The OG one, not the one from a couple years ago.
No,
not Honor Among Thieves, but like the one with like Jeremy Irons in it.
Yeah.
With the brainworm. Anyway, they're all so stupid sounding, and one of them has a
little penguin.
Little penguin. So I wrote down the exact lines in the narration.
His name is Happy.
First off, can't remember the black guy's name. However, he was introduced. Simon. Simon is introduced by the narration is that's Simon. He's my best genius friend.
I like that.
Which is really unbelievable.
Especially since the entire movie, like almost immediately, Simon is the guy who's like, I don't know about this science stuff, man.
Yeah.
What? I don't know about these experiments. You're not figuring anything out.
Yeah. He's nothing about him gives like I like this other than literally Ram saying this is my genius friend.
This is my
so
best
funny.
genius friend. And then the other guy, the line is he has a stuffed penguin named Happy.
Yeah.
I didn't know the other guy, Felix. Did it say where he's from, like what his deal is? Except it's so loosely characterized.
We don't get much of him. We don't get much of him at all.
We don't get to know Felix.
No,
he does get one of the
unfortunately.
greatest reinstated scenes in this movie that I found after, which we'll
I just
talk
saw
about
my next.
later.
I just saw my next note after he has a stuffed penguin named Happy, and it really contrasts with he has a stuffed penguin named Happy. Do you want me? Can I read it out?
Yeah.
Please do.
Okay. So here's my notes in order. He has a stuffed penguin named Happy. And then right after, how come every Christian movie has to have a scene where a Muslim terrorist slits a child's throat?
Dude. Okay. And that brings me to what I think is my favorite part of the movie, which is the enemies of the movie are Muslim extremists. And at least three separate times someone says, yeah, and not all Muslims are like this. Just these guys.
To be sure.
I couldn't. I was like, that is such a like crazy, like you just see the gears turning in the guy who wrote its mind so clearly. Where
And
he's
this-
like, well, I want both.
This is my theory about this guy is that he's not like a Kevin Sorbo type. He does not actually. He really
He has
wants
no
that
star
kind
power
of.
like Kevin
well, that
Sorbo
too.
does.
But he like Kevin Sorbo would make no bones about saying "fuck these Muslim terrorists."
Yes.
We gotta go.
Yes.
Right. This
would go
guy
after them.
Still has a little bit of, which is kind of weird. Like it's almost endearing. It's still extremely racist and Islamophobic and like
it's
cultural.
It's unbelievably that way. I think that there's other stuff in, and let's just go down like because this whole Ahmed is like the that's his name, right?
Yeah, Ahmed.
He's the bad guy of the movie. He runs the organization that
funds
that
the
they are-
research.
Yes,
that
like,
and
he
it's
runs the
secretly
lab.
backed. It's backed by a Muslim extremist group who's trying
Terrorists.
to use the technology to move weapons or whatever.
or something. It's really
Yeah.
unclear. Ahmed is. Oh, there's so much going on with him.
He's
because there's-
Latino. He's very clearly
Yeah,
a
he is
Latino
not-
man.
yeah,
Does not look Middle Eastern.
Didn't read as Muslim until literally they bring up like a guy dressed as a Shah, and you're like, oh, okay, all right.
3 different times they mentioned there's a difference, and not all Muslims are like this. In fact, I wrote down one of the lines, which I found very, very funny.
Is this the first one where the first time when they say that? Because that's my favorite part, where they're like, after they do the flashback, or maybe it's not the first time, they do a flashback about Ahmed. His
This
parents.
is before this line that I wrote down, but I love
Go ahead.
Well, the line that I wrote down is one of the characters says, so the lady says, the girl says, like, he's awful. I can't believe that he's doing this. And says something bad about Muslims. And then the guy says, don't be judgmental or hateful of Muslims. Ahmed is an extremist. There's a difference.
Yes. And that's the only time of those things it's said in the movie. The rest of the times it was so clearly added later. It's like voiceover of
Yes.
of Ram being like, and remember, not all Muslims want to blow you up.
Don't be judgmental or hating on Muslims. Ahmed is an extremist. There's a big difference.
Like it's added in these weird like little moments.
And there's 2 other things that are very, very confusing. One is that we see Ahmed, a flashback where Ahmed's parents are being killed by the terrorist organization that he works for.
Yes.
And presumably, I don't know if this was in the cut I saw, but somewhere I read online, it said that they were killed for converting to Christianity.
That was
I
not
did not
mentioned
get
in the
that.
movie.
I
but that
think
is
they
interesting.
may have taken that out because I also saw a
I watched the
trailer
director's cut.
where
I watched the
I
director's
know that's what same. That's what the theatrical cut, like the trailer for this movie, has way more anti-Muslim stuff in it. So it seems like they
Interesting.
may have toned that down a little bit. I don't know,
'Cause
but
it just
anyway,
doesn't-
That
They
wouldn't
can't make
surprise
it work.
me because the references they make to It's Just Extremist felt so like it felt so added in post that I was
Yes.
like, oh, clearly someone watched that and was like, hey, you gotta like tone this down, you know?
Right after they show the flashback, they're talking about Ahmed and and his deal. And then the guy says, I don't know what happened. It
no,
must
his
be
names
Stockholm."
Ram. You need to say his name.
Ram,
His name
Ram
is
says,
Ram.
Ram says, I don't know what happened. It must be Stockholm.
Stockholm.
Must be stopped. I put that in all
What?
caps in my notes.
What?
Extremists killed Ahmed's parents. Why would he work with them?
It must be Stockholm Syndrome.
That makes like
What are you talking about? The carousel kills Ahmed's parents, and then he likes them.
he
What
be,
are
not
you
only
talking
he
about?
becomes the most effective one of them all. with
don't understand.
no
What are you
attempt
talking
to make
about?
that
Which
a
is
real
like,
characterization.
I think you're like, it's like he's like, it feels like something he saw in another
Yes.
movie, but then
Yes.
like didn't actually know like how that worked, other than he was like, that's cool, but there's no pay. Is there payoff for it?
There's no payoff at all.
Well, there is payoff for
trying
the knife. This thing
Yeah.
is like tightly written because there is no Chekhov's gun that goes unfired in this movie.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
The amount of detail for this is actually impressive.
Yeah.
I think that it was the director-writer trying to write a complex
Yes.
villain.
Yes.
And not knowing any
Right.
idea how to do that.
Exactly.
It's
And
like,
just
this
like,
guy
oh,
has
that's
this
and
whole
not doing
entity.
any research.
No.
Like that's the thing that like writing is. You have to read a
And
lot.
then Ahmed says that he's going to go back in time. Once he finds out there's a time machine, he
Yes.
says, I'm going to go back in time and stop my parents from being killed. And then he goes back in time to kill Christ.
Right.
Why? What changed?
Right.
Why is that the new directive? What are you talking about?
Well,
And that's where
he
I-
gets madness. Right? There's that great scene where they're like the time travel, and even his guys are like, "I don't know, boss. I don't think we should kill Jesus." And then he's like, "No, I'm gonna kill him now."
Hey, boss, I heard this guy's a prophet in our faith. I think maybe we shouldn't be doing this with because Isa is pretty important in the Quran.
He's still important to our
listen here,
religion.
boss. I don't know if you read this stuff. I haven't seen you down at prayer recently, but he's pretty important.
Yeah, we still like have him. You know that, right, dude?
It's so
bunch of
and-
Batman goons all say, "Oh crap! Here comes the Christ! Let's get him!" They all run in different directions in the warehouse.
I do if the original version of this movie, which I probably got to see because I do want to watch this movie again. I have to show this to people.
It's
because
amazing.
it's so good. But I wonder if
really
the
good.
original that was kind of what happened is he was his parents were converted, so he goes back to say, well, I don't want them to get converted, so I just got to kill the guy who started this whole thing. And that
that would make more sense.
That would make
I
way
can't-
more
That's a
sense.
good. That's good.
That's what
Because
it
it's a
was
guy
originally.
driven by.
That's gotta be
He's
That has to be
insane.
what it was originally.
And he's like, well, if I go back, it'll. If I
If I just stop Christianity
that's
from
fun.
happening,
Yeah,
if I stop
yeah.
Christianity from happening,
Yeah,
then my
yeah.
parents wouldn't have. That's so much better.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
That's 1,000 times better. That's
Yeah.
actually almost good.
Yeah.
That's that part. If they would have just given a little bit more pace to that characterization, but I think that's kind of what's lying behind it. So Ram accidentally invents time travel while trying to invent transportation. Almost immediately, they also simultaneously discover, in a very Dickensian way, the plot to go back, or the plot to, I guess, fund terrorism that's sort of vague. They essentially want to be able to instantly move weapons.
Because Ram hacks in, they're in the server room, and
Yeah.
Ram plugs like an Ethernet cord into a server and realizes what's happening.
and is able to intercept it. So everything unravels. They start torturing people. They kill Ram's parents, shoot them in the fucking head.
I could not believe that. I thought that I was like, oh, well, they're obviously doing a thing where they like shoot to the side and making it look. It was like,
That's
no.
when I realized this was the real shit. Is that like
Killing
they
people
just
execution style.
kill his parents, and it's not faked. It is actually like
They're doing the
everything
fucking killing joke to these people.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
like they're
Yeah.
tearing their lives apart.
Yeah, they're really
Yes.
just. And I do think it's interesting that I thought it a very weird moment where Ram was pretty much non-communicative as he watched both his parents shot in the head and the back of the head, execution style on their knees, but then freaks him out about his girlfriend.
Yeah,
and I was just like, that's just weird. Like, I don't know what, like, I just couldn't figure out what that was, if that makes sense.
That part doesn't really ring true, and that's kind of one of the weird parts, but it doesn't matter. He finally breaks when they threaten to start pulling his girlfriend's skin off, and all of that, and so he
breaks because he's like, well, I don't want to watch that. That's disgusting. Yeah, they got shot in the head. It was over. I'm not going to watch someone get tortured.
Yucky.
And so he builds them the time machine. They go back in time, and they kill Jesus.
Yeah, they blast him.
They kill
blast him.
Jesus. I actually had a clip here. I forgot which one it was. Oh,
They
yeah, it's
sell-
the don't be judgmental and hating on Muslims one. Never mind. It is a voiceover. Don't be judgmental
I
and
love it.
hating on Muslims.
Those are the
which
best.
I'll put a clip of that in
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
yeah.
fucking good.
There's a
Also,
difference.
okay, because something I think, and I think this is the problem, and it's like, I really think, is it Brant? Is that the name of the guy with the British wife? I found that character so, I think maybe one of the big problems structurally with this movie is there's like two protagonists, but one of them is an anti-hero, but then there's also a real villain. So like, that's what was so, because when Ram later is like free, like, because Ram is like basically makes Brant the enemy in his mind, right?
Yeah.
But you're like,
Brant is
why wouldn't it be Ahmed? Like, I found that so odd.
Brant is the main character in a morality play that is happening in the movie.
Yes.
Sort of in the background of the main
Yes.
plot of the movie. And then Ram is the main character of Ricky Morty.
That's the
yes.
part where you're finding the delineation between the Christian like sermonizing part of it, which is that, you know, the Brant story,
Right.
which doesn't really always ring true, and then the part where you can tell this director really liked it, which is all of the Ricky Morty stuff,
Yes.
like the timeline stuff.
He wanted to write What If Ricky Morty Went to Jesus, but then he realized he couldn't get funding unless like a good cop went bad, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A troop, even a hero. Hero troop.
We got to tell a story about a cop who gets paraplegia.
My kids would hate to see what I'm doing now. Going back in time, shooting Paul the Apostle in the head, execution style, then running around and killing more.
Oh, you
Can
know
I say what my favorite line is in the whole
wait,
movie? Because it's in this part where they are holding a gun up to Jesus.
Okay.
Like when Brant is like about to shoot Jesus.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Brant is about to shoot Jesus, and Brant is going through his own thing because his kids and wife are dead, and he hates God. And he's like, if I fucking hate you so much. If you could have
No
stopped
cussing.
it, why didn't
No
you stop
cussing.
it?
They don't cuss.
I'm sorry. Well,
They don't
that's-
cuss.
Dang,
they
don't.
blow people's brains out.
That's
but not
crazy.
Not even the troop cusses.
Can't. That's actually amazing to me because I would
Not
have
even the
assumed,
Jewish scientist cusses.
Yeah.
The
And
atheist
they
Jew
love that.
scientists.
I mean, you know
and
that.
they love. They put
As
it
a
in all
Jewish
of our
scientist
movies.
yourself, you know, they love
They love fuck, fat fuck,
fat fuck.
fat fuck.
Anyway, so the line.
What's the line, Jesse?
The line is Brant has a gun up to his head. He's screaming at him. And at one point, and then he says, if you're the son of God, then you can stop these bullets.
It goes so hard.
And then Jesus, and he's like foaming at the mouth. He's so mad and crying. And then Jesus owns him so good. He looks back and he says, unless I allow it.
If you really are the son of God, you can stop these bullets.
Unless I allow it.
Oh shit!
And then he gets even more mad and he can't fucking take it.
Bro.
I'm so fucking mad.
And
I'm
I will
supposed
say-
to die, bruh.
The
Unless
ending
I
of this
allow
movie, that comes back too, in a way, not very well spelled out, but that it all comes back. So Brant domes Jesus.
Yeah.
They don't show it with like they do it off screen, which I guess is the closest this movie gets towards being like somewhat reverential towards
They should have
the
shown
figure
an
of Jesus.
exit wound.
They
Give me
should
the
have
whole
shown it.
Give me the big pile of Christ brain.
In my
Yeah.
Come
version
on,
of
if
in
you're
my
gonna do
remake
it,
of
do
this
it.
movie, one of the other operators is like on the hill and like looking over it, and it looks like, you know, Zapruder film style. Like you see it and you just pow.
Yeah.
And you
yeah.
see the night vision of Jesus.
He's Zero
getting-
Dark 30s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. My
Totally.
favorite line, though, I missed it in my notes, is when Brant has a brief dispute over like whether he wants to continue doing this when he's talking to Ahmed, the head, and he suddenly, and because this is a Christian movie, people are always opening up about like how they feel about God all the time. Something people don't do even when you're like an evangelical. Even when I was a missionary, that was not quite as like
It's like inappropriate in
it's
a way.
weird. It's
yeah.
weird.
Odd.
It
Yeah.
rings false. And as he's talking about his, he gets really testy with Ahmed, and is like, "Okay, well, then why wouldn't Allah do this?" And Ahmed freaks out and says, "How dare you insult Allah?"
How dare you insult Allah?
in the most like
I like that line too.
How dare you insult the law?
I didn't write that down. It was
It's
really great.
so fucking good.
I was so ready after that for like it to like literally it to just stop. The movie stops, and then the narration goes, and remember, they're not all like that.
It's so good. So they managed to break the constraints. The Genius Squad manages to go back in time. They manage to kind of like they are unable to stop it, but they chase him into the blah 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 blah. They then go back to the present to 2029. Ram and Amy do while leaving because they're too late. While leaving Felix and Simon behind, the B Squad, and then Simon and Felix then try to return to the present as well. But
Right.
At
Simon's
this point that the movie becomes so confusing to
It's
me,
so
I could not figure out what's happening.
yeah, Simon's
Or
time
wh-
travel
who's
watch
doing what.
fails. Felix though does go forward in time, but in the continuity of this, he waited too long, and so now the I think there's a cat yelling at my door. Sorry about that.
Oh, good.
There's a cat, or there's a cat. When Felix goes forward in time, it quickly changes to a zombie apocalypse, which I found out was not in the original cut of the movie. It was a post-credit sequence that was cut for time.
That is, that was very odd.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, this is what the future looks like without Christ. And it's a green apocalypse.
Yeah.
With a bunch of zombies, flesh-eating zombies everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and
I think that part, that's the only part I think is true. If
that if
this
Christ
happened
wasn't...
here, I think it's because the Jewish scientists would make zombies.
well, absolutely.
If they don't have any sort of boundaries up like God, that's what they're going to do.
If we don't have these rules, then why not just go outside and kill people?
I mean, it's ridiculous the way these people act.
If you don't have God, if you're an atheist, why not just go outside, blow people's brains out?
That's basically the entirety of, like, again, the kind of depth of how they deal with that. But they arrive, Simon and, or Jesus, I can't remember any of the names here. Oh, so sorry. The zombie apocalypse angle is fascinating because most of this is based on, like, they very smartly have the only Jesus scene start at the Garden of Gethsemane. There's no Pilate. There's no, like, the Jews crying, kill him. They managed to shockingly avoid being too anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Which is...
Because they do just show Romans.
It's just it's like you basically the only people you see attacking him are Romans, and it's like everyone else is an apostle or a follower, right?
Yeah,
I
guess they didn't have the budget for the Jews.
Well, I guess the other people that
it's because if they did, the prosthetics would have gone way crazy.
And I think it's
if we're gonna put Jews in it, we got to make sure we have the budget to make them look like Jews.
The noses alone, it's gonna run you so much.
It's
money.
really good. It's really good they didn't show any Jews attacking Jesus. They just showed 16 Muslim terrorists punching him full of holes with 5.56 ammunition.
Dude, also the wigs on the apostles were so good. Like they were like the black, just like they all looked like they were the same wig from Amazon 10 times. It was so funny.
It has to have been that. I didn't catch that, but that's absolutely.
I have a thing that's kind of anecdotal, but something I love doing is watching like a show on Netflix, similarly a lot of low budget, and seeing the same costume from Amazon Prime that the production designer got that I've used in a $0 budget sketch comedy video from 10 years ago. Like there's a clown costume I have seen at least 10 times in different Netflix shows.
That is the level of insight that I brought you on for as an LA Jew yourself. We got to get that kind of background Hollywood. Nuts
people
and bolts
don't know.
stuff in here.
A lot of these production designers, they're phoning it in. They're not. They don't belong in the union. Go ahead, Jesse.
The thing in Netflix shows and like old, like straight to streaming shows that has started to really stick out to me is how brand new everything looks.
Yes.
Like you'll watch an old Western or something set in like 1800s America, and the set will just be like completely clean and freshly painted.
It's because they do a thing. I mean, unless I guess with period pieces, but and I know this from like, this is just a part of indie filmmaking. Even if you're making a feature, is going to a big box store, buying a fuck ton of furniture and then returning it. Like that is such a bit. That's like, that's an undercurrent that I think people don't know, that it's like the only reason people can make shit is the return policies at big box corporations, you know? Yeah. So like a lot of times that's what it is. And a lot of times it's people going like, don't fuck it up too much, because we got to like fucking return those,
exactly.
you know? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can't weather it so that it looks.
No, because we have to give this back.
We have to cut all this. You guys are giving too many trade secrets away.
I know.
It might not even be big box store. It might just be like fucking furniture rental or something.
Yeah. Party outlet.
Yeah. Just get it from a rental.
Errands.
People are like making it, because you can't afford to. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Ram and Amy, however, do make it back to the present. They warn their alternate selves in that version through some sign language that Amy knows. So then the crew that they go back or go to the present to warn goes back in time with a plan. They decide smartly to calibrate it 10 minutes earlier this time. I probably would have given myself a little bit more leeway.
Yeah, 10 minutes is really, you could have taken an hour, bro.
It's a time machine. There is no no limit here. You can do.
But we have to show up before it so that we can stop it from happening. Okay, I'll set it for 1 second before it happens.
He does that later in the movie.
I know.
At the end of the movie, he literally does that. It's the stupidest thing ever. Oh.
He has a weird. Okay, something I love about the narration when they're first explaining the time travel, even before the movie begins, like we're talking before the car accident with the British woman, is like Ram saying to you, like, you're kind of you're not going to get this. So just like, don't worry. He's like, he says this narration that's really stuck out to me of like, even for time travel stuff, this is going to be fucking confusing. And I just think that's such a funny way to couch the like rule system of like, time takes time to move. So actually for the timelines to converge, that takes time. So we have to take less time to do everything.
I wasn't appreciated that.
I wasn't listening to any of this.
You wouldn't, and thankfully it was only throwaway lines. Like they don't waste a lot of time, because immediately when they go back in time, they get to the good stuff. Again, this movie has the heat.
Yes.
So when they arrive with big sticks, or they gather up big sticks like branches, and then the best but not very well filmed part of it that could be so good if this movie was made by someone super competent and with a budget. When the security forces arrive in this timeline now, they just stick the branches in as they're materializing and instantly gore these guys to death.
It's such a cool idea.
Sick.
So sick.
It's so good.
That literally is an idea I haven't seen.
Yes.
Like that is like legitimately interesting.
Going to teleport into exactly this location. So I'm going to put a big fucking Ewok stick in the middle of it.
So good.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But because they didn't give themselves more than 20 minutes, Amy gets shot. Two of the security guys, Brant and what was the other guy? Sabir, escape.
Yeah.
And then they go and give chase. Amy's shot and she's being taken care of. And this gets to maybe my favorite scene in this movie. So this is Bible lore time. Funniest part of this movie, right after this. Ram is escaping, giving chase to Brant, trying to track them down so that they can't kill Jesus again. Ram, though, as he's walking away, he had to give his shirt to tie around his girlfriend's waist, and he loses his pants for some reason that I don't think is
naked
very.
Guy. Yeah, he's a naked
right.
guy.
He's got just white boxers on and his white lab coat. Okay, as
he looks good too. By the way, he's got a six pack. I just want to say,
he looks
shout out to
great.
Ram. Yeah,
I was not expecting that. He was playing scientist pretty well, and then you see this guy, and he's got
shit.
You're like, okay.
He's got that kind of thin, tall, like LDS body, where it's like this is a man for Christ who goes to the gym.
Which I this is where I have to have us do some Bible reading, which is done in the movie. So have you guys read the I know.
I love this, by the way, Hayden. So don't let that,
you.
I think I love the Bible.
For every line of the Bible you read, I'm going to read a line from Amy Poehler's autobiography that will cancel it out.
Well, that's okay, Jesse, because you're going to be doing the one reading it. So have you guys read the Gospel of Mark lately? I've shared it up on the screen, add to stage. Can you see that, Jesse?
Yeah.
Could you read that verse starting from the scribes? From now. This is from Mark 14.
Absolutely. The scribes and the elders. Now the betrayer had given them a sign, saying, "The one I will kiss is the man. Arrest him and lead him away under guard." So when he came, he went up to him at once and said, "Rabbi," and kissed him. Then they laid hands on him and arrested him. But one of those who stood near drew his sword and struck the slave of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Then Jesus said to them, "Have you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me as though I were a rebel? Day after day I was with you in the temple teaching, and you did not arrest me. But let the scriptures be fulfilled." All of them deserted him and fled.
Right. So this is that is all portrayed in the movie. Like, that's the central scene of the movie. In this version of it,
this happens to Ram, and Ram is
okay.
Is Ram?
So they're witnessing this. They witness the guy get his ear chopped off, and sticking with the Gospel of Mark and everything outside of the Gospel of Luke, Jesus does not heal the man's ear, which is kind of interesting that they stuck with that, because a lot of people would try to harmonize that and add it in and maybe talk about Jesus' healing power. He does not. He sticks with Mark's Gospel. And then could you read the last line of that, Jesse?
Yeah. A certain young man was following him, wearing nothing but a linen cloth. They caught a hold of him, but he left the linen cloth and ran off naked.
So that has puzzled people. Where did this young man come from? What is the point of this? Nobody
knows. It's a really weird line.
It was a Jewish scientist from the future, which does sound like something someone would say that had really crazy beliefs.
And this is one of the oddities. Mark is one of the oddest gospels. They cut that out for the other ones when people, it's the oldest one, and when people like rewrote it as Luke and as Matthew, they would take out parts that were a little bit less comfortable or were kind of weird or unexplained.
Or didn't connect to like a teaching or anything.
Right, exactly.
Who cares that guy was he ran off?
I feel like it's weirdly like that stuff, like whether you believe it's, the historical Jesus, you're like, those are the details that make me feel like, okay, at least a guy was crucified, because that does seem like it seems like a weird detail of something that happened in real life that no writer would ever put in, unless because they're trying to actually write down what happened. You know what I mean?
Or it was like part of the book that was then like removed, and now it doesn't make sense. Like something else.
Yeah. There was a longer thing, and then it just
there was a whole side plot with the naked man, but then they took it out, but then they forgot to take out the line. Like, well, we got to pay homage to him somehow.
One of the most interesting bits of kind of scholarly inquiry from the last century has been, so there's this place called Mar Saba. It's one of the oldest functioning monasteries. It's still in the West Bank. They still don't allow women. In the 1950s, an American scholar went there, and he was recording because they were still finding all of these old manuscripts that had not been cataloged and made more publicly available. In one of them, there's a portion. Yeah, it's like the end of this anthology of works from an early Christian author named Ignatius, which are probably themselves forgeries. But at the very end, a scholar published that there was this letter from another patristic author from that time period, an actual person named Clement of Antioch, I think it was. And in it, there is more, and it's supposedly Clement castigates the person he's writing to, Theodora, for believing or holding sacred this book, this sacred secret Gospel of Mark, a second version of the Gospel of Mark, in which there is a story and that he takes issue with, where Jesus runs into this character and he raises him from the dead in a way that's described very similar to Lazarus.
The naked man?
Yes, the naked young man. And then Jesus takes him sends everyone else away and spends a night with this boy. And it says, But the youth, looking upon him, loved him and began to beseech him that he might be with him. And going out of the tomb, they came into the house of the youth, for he was rich. And after 6 days, Jesus told him what to do. And in the evening, the youth comes to him,
He told him
wearing
what to
a linen cloth over his naked body.
Okay.
And he remained with him that night, for Jesus taught him the mystery of the kingdom of God.
What
And then
on
rising,
fucking-
he returned to the other side of the Jordan.
fucking earth?
And so no matter what, this is probably a forgery. It may have been done by the scholar himself as like an elaborate troll on his colleagues, because it's at the very end of this book, has nothing to do with the rest of the book. But because the monastery didn't want the attention from it, they've essentially hidden it. Nobody's seen it in 30 years. They can't test the ink to see if it was like, because he was the one. This is how I
To like
think of
date
it.
the ink, yeah.
It was like this guy was the one. He's like, he went over. It was his thing. He was getting all of it, so he had complete control over it.
Yes, and so I like to think it was an elaborate troll by him to essentially troll his colleagues in a way that only he could have done. He's the only one who could, because the only thing they can go off is the photographs that have been taken of it, and those all look kind of legit. But was this like a blank page in the back that the only person who could forge this well, was able to do? That is probably the most magical one, but also it could be real. That's the other part.
Real.
There's an outside chance.
This is the funny thing about ancient texts like this, where it's like the Bible to so many people everywhere is like this immutable text that cannot ever be changed, and it is perfect and it's singular. And it's like, I don't know. They found the Dead Sea Scrolls in like the mid 40s.
It's all been changed.
There's still shit everywhere.
Yeah, it's like
like that's that whole idea, the inerrancy thing, kind of came up as a response to the fact that they found so much stuff that kind of disproved the Bible, right? It came up around that same time, the political movement of the like 50s, the backlash against the New Deal and all of that stuff.
Because they were like, whoa,
doubled down on that.
Wow.
But anyway, so we go back immediately. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, and then we get to the good part, the crucifixion scene.
Sorry, I just looked up. I wanted to confirm that I was right about the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah, 47.
And they were found when a young Bedouin shepherd tossed a rock into a cave and then heard a shattering sound.
Yeah, alleged. That's the story.
So he threw a rock into a cave randomly and then heard a stock sound effect. And
shit!
Yeah, exactly.
There's some shit in there.
Rolls. That's really funny.
Which is very possibly the exact kind of modern legend that gets blown up over time. There's a similar one for the Nag Hammadi collection. Like there's a collection of Gnostic writings, Gnostic-ish writings and other stuff that was found in Egypt. And you always get stories like that, and you're always like, is that really what happened?
Yeah.
Maybe. Which is, again, very fascinating that even now we kind of invent folklore for this. That's not implausible.
I kind of believe stories like this because there are two ways things could possibly be discovered. And one is an archaeological expedition goes to a place and slowly digs up the ground until they find something.
Yeah.
Unless that happened, the only other way for things to be found is if some guy trips over the terracotta army.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like that's the only other way, is that a farmer got some like magnet stuck to his shovel and he was like, "What the fuck?"
Yep, that's absolutely. We get back to the movie. We finally get to the crucifixion. The greatest scene. One of the, again, I keep saying this, but just one of the iconic moments in this movie. Ram takes the dying Amy to Jesus. He thinks he's going to go to a doctor. I don't know what doctor he imagined could treat a bullet wound at the time.
He
seems very upset that
and then
they
he's
don't
like
bring
pissed
him to a doctor.
Yeah, they like can't fix her. And it's like, what do you think is happening right now?
Do you not like? Did he not read any history in all of his studies? But then pan over from Jesus. Who's next to him on the cross?
Yes.
It's Brand and Sabir being crucified with him. They are the other men on the crosses.
They are the thieves.
This is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yes,
This is a
they are the
It's
thieves.
fucking good, man. I was like, they are cooking. I wish, can I say the one thing?
Yeah.
I wish they had a bunch of wounds on them. I wish they had
I
really
know.
fucking gone for it. Like, give them the fucking
can
stab
see-
wounds, dude.
Yeah, give 'em
Crowd
the
shots,
lance wound-
the
lance
crowd
wound.
shots and some of the gore, you can tell the budget was hitting its limits, which
Yes,
is
yeah.
too bad, because that would have fucking ripped.
Yeah, I was literally like, he is fully cooking with. I was like, damn, bro. Yeah, incredible stuff.
It's really good.
It's so good. So Amy gets to see the resurrection. She dies. Ram won't forgive Brant, which seemed like it was the key to Amy being healed.
Wait. Can we? I don't want to blow. Have we
yeah.
already gone past the tomb and what they have in the tomb with them?
Sure. The tomb is one of the most baffling scenes. Go ahead.
okay.
I don't understand the tomb.
So
I
the
don't
tomb
understand it at
opens.
all.
Jesus is gone. There are
No. The tomb does not open. Do not glide over. I know. I already glided over this. I was
it
already
opens.
going to do that.
Oh, it opens.
Oh, it opens. It does not open like the gospel.
No.
It explodes open. No stone rolled away.
Right.
It
Sorry.
blows the fuck
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. And then this to me is one of my favorite images of the movie is they're in there in the tomb and there are a bunch of glow sticks
From Ahmed, who briefly shows up, but then doesn't do anything.
Because he wanted to steal. Oh, because he wanted Jesus's DNA, which will be important later.
Yes.
But I just was like, it was it felt the most blasphemous to me in a way I couldn't quite put my finger on. Is these two women show up and they see these magical glowing sticks and they're like, this is proof that God exists. And I was like, that's so weird. That
And Ram and whoever's with him, is it Simon? I think the black guy.
Yeah.
They trick the women
Yeah.
with the glow sticks.
Whoa!
They lift it and the women go run away scared, which is the end of the Gospel of Mark. Again, this is all based on that. In the other ones, in the Gospel of Mark, Jesus actually never appears after the resurrection. In the original version, he doesn't appear. He doesn't. There is no real resurrection scene.
Yeah, he's just gone.
It's just the women going to the tomb and then being frightened when they find it empty. It's all implied. The other ones expand on that. Jesus shows up. He talks on them. Again, no one was satisfied with Mark.
Yeah.
This movie is very satisfied. It plays on all of that very specifically in a way that it doesn't deal with the other Gospels at all, which is so interesting. But they go back. Are we done with the tomb scene? Anyone got anything else there?
No, I found the glow sticks thing and sort of basically doing a we're tricking people in the past joke to show that the resurrection of Jesus Christ happened was totally insane.
Yes, it's C-3PO pretending to be a god with Luke's help.
Yeah, and you're and you're doing it at the most critical part that shows that the testament and life of Jesus Christ dying for our sins and resurrection. It's quite literally the most magic thing that happens in the crux of whether you believe or not is his ability to resurrect. And instead it's played for essentially laughs. And I just was like, that's so crazy.
I love it.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
It's really so strange.
So Ram goes back, and Simon, after Amy dies, they go back to 2029. Simon slowly dies again. All of these characters die so many times. Ram slaughters the security forces.
Dude,
he
shit,
was not
when Ram
impacted
shows
by
the
seeing
fuck
Jesus.
up, and literally, he goes into the room to save his parents, and he just mercilessly, fully fucking holds his gun sideways and blows these guys away. I was like, that is not fun violence to watch. It's not cool.
It's also never addressed even later.
No.
Later, they don't ever address that he committed murder.
No.
He killed a lot of dudes.
A lot of people. You would have
one
questions.
guy that he doesn't
Dude, when the
kill
cops
later.
show
Like, he
up at the
doesn't
end,
kill
they're
Brady.
like, sir, yes, sir, we've got this. I know I'm skipping ahead, but it really made me laugh.
Oh, it's so good.
That was so nice.
Oh, the use your app thing. She to confirm that
iDisciple.
all of this happened.
Yes.
Amy's like, he's like, pull out your Bible app.
iDisciple.
That is a lot. iDisciple.
I wrote down the exact line. Use your Bible app to read to me what happened to Jesus.
To confirm. This is for them to confirm that the timeline is fixed.
And
And
then
that's
she
when
pulls
they
up her
find
phone
the
and
line about
opens
the
an app
naked young
called
man.
The app is called iDisciple.
iDisciple.
I disciple.
It's so good.
I disciple.
I disciple.
This is, and then they get into like a Mexican standoff sort of situation.
Yeah.
And there's this altar call around Ram forgiving Brant. Which is, but in this movie, the altar call is almost entirely, it's not about accepting Jesus into your heart or becoming born again. That stuff, it's literally just about forgiveness.
Which I like. I
want
want
to
to say.
I know.
I was
I think
like,
that's
that's like kind of legitimately interesting where it's like, it's not about accepting that Jesus is real. It's about accepting the teachings. And that, like, I was like, that is legitimately compelling in a way that was baffling to me that I was like kind of moved.
This Islamophobic and like this regressive in so many ways.
Yes.
It's not like, it's weirdly not that preachy.
No, it's essentially saying to Ram, it's like,
it should be.
like Ram is essentially basically his morality is like the end of his morality tale is being like, it actually kind of doesn't matter if you believe or not, if you accept the teachings, because that's what's important. And that's like, to me, very strangely progressive of a way to look at Christian doctrine.
And that's why none of the Christians really liked this movie.
Of course,
that is the most important
Doesn't make
part.
anybody happy.
No, it doesn't. It
happy.
doesn't, which is so incredible.
Yeah.
And so basically, the good guys win, basically because that's now the main plot of the movie. Ram goes back in time to save Brant's wife and kids from the car accident.
At the very end, and stop him from getting into a car accident because he's paraplegic, but we don't really spend any time.
The Zoom call, there's a moment where Brant's on a Zoom call and they're like,
and they say he's paraplegic, but he's clearly quadriplegic because he can't move his hands. He can only talk. He can't.
They get him the chair. They get him the little thing to blow on to like make the chair go, and then like the lady on the thing, which you definitely can't say if you're working in a business, is you can't legally say this because the ADA Act. Yeah, we didn't know your shit was all like fucked up, so we can't hire you. Sorry,
we can't hire you because you can't do this.
Yeah.
So I guess he was applying to be a construction worker or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck. What
or
was
like
even the conversation
private
for?
military contractor or something.
I have no idea.
It must have been. Yeah.
There's a really cool part in that where he talks into his thing because he's quadriplegic. He can't move his arms. Clearly, he talks into the little thing to move his wheelchair, and he says back two steps.
I love that.
And it goes back a little bit, and you can see in the shot where it goes back after he tells it to, not an electric wheelchair at all. Normal wheelchair. They have there has to have been a guy on the other side of a doorway with a little rope pulling it. Like that.
Absolutely.
They could not afford an electric wheelchair even for the gag.
Phenomenal. And these scenes like of like harrowing consequences playing out. Because it's the end of the movie, it's suddenly back to voiceover like every minute. Like it's like
there's so much stuff happening.
And this guy got disabled.
And this too.
Okay,
this guy got disabled, but I fixed him.
I think
this is something I was legitimately confused about. Is why, and maybe it's just the writing, or maybe I just wasn't paying close attention. Why is the focus of like his redemption around forgiving Brant and not Ahmed?
Because Ahmed's just bad and dies.
He's just a bad Muslim. What do you
right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. I just you know what I mean? I just felt their butting heads felt so like I didn't really get that.
You're missing context. Okay.
Okay.
One of those is a spiritual issue. In that Brant and Ram, they need to work through their issues with God. Brant repeatedly
because they're Christian,
whereas Ahmed, you'll remember he has Stockholm syndrome. That's a completely different thing. That's a psychological issue. There is no chance to redemption for the mentally ill.
Right, because Ahmed, when you cut to Ahmed and he's in the pit and he's in the tomb, he's going blah, 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 so you don't really know. Yeah,
he's going nuts.
So the interesting part is that because the time like travel mechanics aren't very well spelled out, like the rules for how this all works. In some of them, it seems like the reality gets overwritten, but then and then it says like, oh, and you can't continue to exist in this reality if you're from another one. But that doesn't always seem to be the case, I guess. And so they are able to like they show the one where Brant is still a quadriplegic, which is really dark, right? You've got all this stuff about saving him and
It's
all
too
this,
much.
but
I
you
gotta
know
be
there's a
honest.
continuum, as they call it in
heavy.
this movie, where he is like just miserable and still wants to kill himself. And then they show the real kicker. So he saves Brant. They show the real kicker, which is apparently that Ram, I don't know if this was a joke. He becomes a billionaire based on his time travel technology and using
He
it.
says it, and we see stock footage.
There's so much stock footage.
I want to point out a funny thing that Katie, my partner, said because she was watching a little over my shoulder. She looked up at one point and asked, "Is this movie entirely made from stock footage?" And I was like,
The beginning and the end have so much.
But if you watch the parts of it, yeah.
And it really doesn't fit. Like it's not fully like good stock footage that actually makes any sense.
It feels like, especially at the end, it's a list of whatever the writer, like whatever leftover ideas that the writer thought were a cool idea that he was just like, and I have the time machine and I got rich
and I got rich and I also
and
did,
I did this, and
also
I did that.
Yeah.
And also I went back and saved him, and I also went into the future and
And
and that's the real kicker, is that the true ending of this movie, which I assume was the director's original vision, is for a sequel that I absolutely need to happen, because not only is like the theology of this movie like inextricably tied up in the time travel technology. Again, it becomes important to the way the Bible is written in this movie, which is identical to how it's written. Then the way the Antichrist happens is that Ahmed or his security forces, in one of the timelines where they get Jesus' body or his DNA, they are able to go into the future with the DNA far enough to clone Jesus and create the motherfucking Antichrist. Cut to credits. Masterpiece.
I truly, I was like,
I did not know they had it in them.
I really didn't know. I was like, you're doing the Marvel movie thing literally to the last fucking second. You set it up for a fucking extended universe. I could not believe it.
And that
my
rewrites
God.
the rest of the movie.
Do you remember?
Because it makes Ram the villain. He is an atheist Jewish scientist who provides technology to Muslims to then
that allows them to create the Antichrist.
Clone Jesus to create the Antichrist.
But don't you think it feels like it was possibly that he was like, I felt like if you were going to do a second movie, it would be about Bram becoming real Christian and killing the Antichrist. Like it would have been.
That's got to be the
because in Revelations, all the Jews convert. You know, like you have it there. You just do the Revelations. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It's so good. This would be the only good version of that sort of thing, because this director, this writer, this man of letters is so willing to like incorporate Christianity and the New Testament fully into his sci-fi world in a way that the reverence of typical white evangelical conservatives, they would not, because and this is what's interesting. I think the director's black, and I wonder if that has anything at all to do with his ability, because I feel like in white evangelical churches, they all basically swore off this movie if they even heard of it.
Yes.
But I wonder if there's more freedom to do that outside of the specifically white evangelical.
I mean, it is in that like it is tied obviously in our country, and like what we were talking about is like whiteness and white purity is so tied to like keeping the Christian idea so pure. And I mean, literally what we were talking about with Pentecostals at the beginning is there was this intermarriage, and that's why they were in part reviled by the Southern Baptists. Like I do think there has to be is like, at least coming at it from a different angle, or like having a certain disregard for whatever reason, whether it's because of his background or just because he's not as entrenched in the usual things like the Kevin Sorbo type of evangelicism.
The tedious shit, the really boring, tedious shit that you hate.
My experience has been pretty much like for super serious Christian people, white churches are no fun.
Yeah.
And black churches are fun.
Yeah.
They have like joy in them.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't want to overread into that, but there is
white
that
churches
element.
and I'm only speaking to my very limited anecdotal experiences, but like white Christianity is so about purity and so about
especially in this country, like especially built around racial, like yeah.
And that was such a big part of like kind of the propaganda and the ideology that was put into it in like the post-war period, right? Starting with Eisenhower, and that all went around with Reagan. It's this kind of nostalgic view, specifically for the 50s, as this pure, very white, very Christian time, and this movie elides that. It still exists within that framework. It doesn't fully unshackle itself from it, obviously. It's maybe one of the most Islamophobic. Kevin Sorbo would like that part, I think, of it.
I have a few notes,
like
miscellaneous notes from throughout the movie, if I could just list them off, because it seems like we're coming to just about the end of the film, and I just wanted to rattle them off because they are funny moments. One, there's a part where he tries to secretly teleport an eraser, like a tiny
I love that.
That's really good. As like a trick. He's trying to
I like that it doesn't work.
Tiny eraser.
It doesn't work. Tiny, I'm like, I don't know.
And they immediately cop to him. I like that the villains are not like as insane as they are. They are not bumbling or oafish. Like they have him pinned the fuck down.
They're like, shut the fuck up, dude.
We will kill your fucking parents.
For anybody who's going back and watching it and you watch the eraser scene, there is a part where he is holding the eraser and then the next shot is him clapping his hand to his mouth in surprise, and it looks like he eats the eraser.
He should have.
It looks like he sticks it in his mouth and he eats.
That's how you get rid of the evidence.
That's how you get rid of the evidence. There's a part where he says, imagine a world without Hitler, which is him trying to say, don't mess with time travel because you don't know what's going to happen. But it sounds like he's being wistful about it.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's like,
imagine a world. How horrible. Yeah.
There's a part where Ram and girlfriend are in the past, and the girl says, he's never going to be able to kill Jesus. It'll never work. Jesus is God. He can't be killed by man. And then Ram says, that's actually not true. Jesus was killed by man.
Yeah, which is so funny because she's portrayed as being nearly on the level of him intelligence-wise. And yet every other scientist in the movie sounds and
Jesus
acts
was
like
crucified or
yes,
what?
by humans.
It was odd.
It's a big part of it.
There's a scene later where they're trying to get into a certain part in the science facility because whatever, and a guy is trying to open it up at Ahmed's command. And he takes out a steel grinder and uses it on a wooden door, and it makes steel grinding sound.
I missed that. That's good. That's fucking good, man.
That was a good catch because you can tell they sort of filmed that at like an oblique angle, so you couldn't really see
to try to hide it. But
on.
It's a wooden door.
Jesse, you can't stop Jesse from noticing.
Ahmed keeps mentioning specifically that Jesus was a prophet, but not God, which is such a specific. The only thing dumb Christians know about Islam,
because the only interaction any of these people have with Muslims is in on like apologetics debates, right? That is the only
exactly.
These people, and that becomes the main focus of it. Like they don't have. So
why
Muslim
would this
friends.
Why would this crazy terrorist keep mentioning specifically he was a prophet? Just to be clear.
And by the way,
why are you blowing his brains out?
Yeah. Because it's like even for these horrid Muslims, Ahmed is too far for them. You know, like
Maybe, I'm not sure. And then there was one last thing, which is my favorite thing that happened in the whole movie, which is Simon, black guy, is he is hanging out with Jesus. There's a couple of scenes that we didn't talk about where he's hanging out with Jesus, just sort of talking to him.
Yeah.
Because he's sort of an everyman meeting Jesus. And there's a part where he is watching the Stations of the Cross. Basically, he's watching Jesus get beaten down with the crown of thorns by this Roman guy.
While he's there in jeans and a t-shirt.
And beautiful
cornrows. Like the whole
only
thing
black guy in the entire fucking nation.
Dressed basically like an alien to the Roman legionnaires and peasants.
They don't blink. They do not blink at him being there.
Well, it's more than that, because at one point the Roman is whipping Jesus and then he goes, "Hey, stop hitting him." And then the Roman like kind of sulks and walks away, and then he talks to Jesus. And it was
like, whoa. This powerful wizard just told me to stop. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that.
oh my God.
It's really, really bizarre. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, Luke, you got anything else for final closing notes here?
What is the exact wording of the last line? I wish I had it up
Okay,
because I
the
did.
exact wording. I can get very close to the exact. I didn't write it down, but I remember it very well. He's listing off all of the powers of this clone of Jesus.
Yes. Yeah.
He's saying he can make people levitate, raise the dead. He can control the minds of others, but he's the opposite of Jesus in every way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess that's why they call him the
Antichrist.
I think you might have gotten it verbatim.
Oh God, that feels so fucking sick. Oh my God. Yeah.
That ruled. Absolutely ruled. The only other thing I noticed, so Simon, in one of the futures, there's a zombie apocalypse, and I really wish they'd play with this more in their kind of heretical fashion.
Yeah.
One of the most like oddball kind of idiosyncrasies that came from the way that the Gospels were written is that they contain a lot of like fictional elements, which was kind of the literary genre that they worked in. You know, if you wrote about a famous person at the time, even if they were real, there would be miraculous stories. It happened with like Vespasian and with Augustus. Some of them are even very similar to Jesus in that way. Obviously, Pythagoras, like there are all of these kind of similarities in the genre style, which means that like for the Gospel of Matthew, which seems to be written by someone who they were all pretty sure the end times were coming soon. Like that hangs heavily over the New Testament in general, which is why we get these eschatological panics so much, right? Like that is a big part of it that's pretty inextricable to the writings. Well, in the book of Matthew, the guy jumps the gun even further and says, no. Not only was Jesus the first person to be resurrected, but other people were resurrected on the day that he was crucified as well. They showed up, like at the very end of it, like as that's happening there, like, and many others who'd been dead for sometimes a few days or weeks also raised from the dead, which is never addressed anywhere else again. It's sort of like one of these weird little things where, well, it didn't happen. Like the big scale part of this never happened. And yet, I wish they would have played with that a little bit. Like, I wanted to see them explaining how that never gets mentioned again by, like, having the Spec Ops forces just go and mow down all the resurrected bodies like they think they are zombies. And
we got to get rid of these.
We got to get rid of these motherfuckers.
Wow, I don't know why, but I didn't put together that the implication then is that the zombies are who the Antichrist resurrected.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I think that's what they were going for.
I think that's it, right?
I didn't pick that up either.
I think there's a hint of that in there, and I want more, right?
Yeah.
I do want.
He does evil resurrection, so they turn into zombies instead of angels. That's awesome. I think you're right. Yeah.
In Simon's timeline, it seems like Jesus doesn't come back to save them. The world is a total wasteland, or maybe it's before he comes back, but it seems like it's failed.
Yeah.
Which is, again, the fact that Jesus can fail in some of these timelines is... That is the best heresy.
Yeah, it's true heresy.
Phenomenal.
I mean, literally, in the quite literal sense.
It's boggling. You said it. It's boggling.
It boggles. It does boggle.
I'm boggled.
I am boggled.
It's boggling.
My God, this was a great movie. It's terrible, but it is. You have to watch it. Like absolutely, before you even listen to this.
Yeah, it's really
I will put
worth
something
it.
at the front of this saying, no, you do need to watch this because it's that good, and you can see it on YouTube. It's free.
Yeah,
it's on.
Go
TV.
watch this movie, fellas. What did we think?
Great. Best one of those I've ever watched, like by far and above.
As far as like a Christian bad movie,
yeah.
I think it ranks really high.
The places they chose to spend money, like I feel like the teleportation stuff doesn't look that bad in a way where you're like, wait,
it looks
what?
Like TNG or something.
Yeah, and you're like,
it's not that
really
bad.
And then they like couldn't get more than Amazon style like prop like guns and shit. I mean, it's really I mean, I loved it.
Like the flash on whenever they shoot a gun just looks silly, but it in a way that's endearing in B movies. So go and watch this absolutely, and of course, outside of any other closing thoughts, where can people find you, two fellows?
Well, you can find us at the Stores Podcast. You can listen to our podcast Stores, which is available on basically every single podcast platform: Spotify, Pocket Cast, Apple Podcast, all of it. Leave us a 5-star review and maybe check out our Patreon, patreon.com/stores the podcast, where we got a bunch of extra goodies if you want even more. But check us out. We got a bunch of great episodes.
It's
we
so
got like
good. You guys just had
episodes
Sarah
out.
Squirm on, which was really fun. You didn't really talk about the store, which was a
No,
little
maybe the least
disappointing.
of any episode.
I
we've
would
done.
say definitely the least talked about the store of all time.
Other than Sarah hydrates at Hudson News. we kind of got that fact about 10 times in a row.
I would say Sarah was coming off of like 8 hours of doing other podcasts for like a press junket.
In the middle of
staying on topic.
Aren't
was
they
like
in
kind of
SNL
impossible.
season 2? Like, aren't
she was here to do something I can't even remember. Was like, okay, they're making me fit in a bunch of press stuff, and then I think she went back to SNL literally the next day. So, God, the life and times of a busy woman.
And the episode with Gareth Reynolds is also a good starter for anyone who likes the dollop. There's so much good stuff. It's
I love
a great
that
show.
episode. Yeah,
one of my favorite new shows out there. And the two of you guys stream at twitch.tv/Dead Blossom Jesse, and I think twitch.tv/The Luke Man.
That's right.
So make sure to check that out. Fortnite talk show, all of that. And thanks to everyone who's listening. This will come out early on Patreon, but when it comes onto the public feed, if you want to get episodes early, patreon.com/Bible Lore Podcast. And I will see you next time. Thanks again, guys, for coming on the show.
Yeah, super
Thanks
fun.
Thanks
for having us.
A true delight, sir.
True delight.
Absolutely. And we'll see you next time on the Bible Lore Podcast.
Well, the people held their breath when they heard about his death. Everybody wondered why. It was the landlord and the soldiers that he hired to nail Jesus Christ in the sky. This song was made in New York City of rich mans and preachers and slaves. If Jesus was to preach like he preached in Galilee, they would lay Jesus Christ in his grave. Yes, Jesus was a man and a carpenter by hand, his followers true and brave. One dirty coward called Judas Iscariot has laid poor Jesus in his grave.